Hey everybody, welcome back to Weird Sports. I'm joined, as always, by Ryan Flynn. Ryan, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Brian.
And Jack Tiernan. Jack, how you doing?
Brian, doing well, thanks. How are you?
Doing well. This is At the Buzzer. We're here to talk about all the stuff that we didn't get a chance to talk about with in regards to Jimmy Butler last week, because somehow in a week it got even crazier. So I don't know, Jack, do you want to start us off there? What's happening with Jimmy Butler?
So I think to wrap it all up, put it in a nice little bow, a little present box for y'all. I think Jimmy basically came back from his suspension, or actually he was suspended again after we had that conversation. Came back from that suspension, was at shoot around, and I think basically was told by Spo or whoever, I don't know if it was him or Pat Riley, that they were gonna bench him because he basically is too unpredictable. So I think from that aspect, he got so angry and basically said I'm out, see you later, and they just suspended him. It was shoot around. They were yeah, that's it, Jimmy. That's enough of that. Go sit on your ass somewhere else, and we're gonna basically try to trade you now.
Ryan, I've heard it, or I guess I've read it, floated that this may have been intentional because they knew Jimmy Butler would react this way and they wanted to make sure that he didn't get hurt before they could trade him. How do you feel about that potential thought process?
I think a lot of it I don't know how much it matters. It's kind of like the chicken, you know what I mean? It's like Jimmy gets hurt all the time. He also is pretty stubborn. Pat Riley's pretty stubborn. I think it was just going to kind of play out this way no matter what, where Jimmy wasn't going to play. He wasn't going to play for them again. He's going to get suspended, right? I just think we're in a stalemate. Hopefully he gets traded, but I mean, we'll see. It's not the best look in the world. And the options, I kind of think all of the options, it's kind of would Jimmy be enough to get them over the hump? And it's possible, but it's questionable. And the trades aren't looking that good.
Yeah, we kind of broke it down last week and we didn't see very much. And it seems like that's been what everybody's been saying now. It's not a great situation there. Jack, do we owe the Minnesota Timberwolves organization an apology for, I think we all kind of looked a little down on them when everything happened with Jimmy Butler there. But this is 2 teams in a row. That's not great.
I think it is 2 teams in a row. I also think, well, actually, if you don't count Philly, I don't really know what happened in Philly. That was just weird, and I know Jimmy's tweeted cryptically about that too. So maybe
I can speak to it a little. If basically the main thing is I don't think it's this simple, but I know part of it was they decided to go with Tobias Harris instead of him. They thought that Tobias Harris was the better fit, which,
personality-wise,
it looked pretty dumb. Especially, Jimmy did have that. He got them he got the Heat to the finals.
He did.
Considering he got that team, it's tough. Yeah, he's just one of those personalities you've got to learn to mitigate. And look, in hindsight, him and Pat Riley, right? It's kind of those toxic, a toxic couple almost, where it's a toxic power couple. Probably what was it Cardi B and Quavo or one of the, it kind of reminds me of something like that. It's yeah, when those two are probably going, they're probably great and going really strong, very confident, fun. But when they disagree on something, oh man, is it probably ugly?
Yeah, and this got ugly.
Yeah,
I think that's where we're at, right? I think that's maybe the T-Wolves were onto something. Maybe it's just too many big personalities in one room. I think, honestly, it's just like Ryan said, once it gets bad, it gets bad, and then it does become irreparable. And now they have to figure out where they're going to send Jimmy Butler. I honestly think, I thought more about it since last week. If there is a place that he goes, I think that Phoenix might be the best place for him, which is not even from a basketball standpoint necessarily. Because Ryan, I know you're I don't know about that, but I think if we from a personality perspective, I think what Jimmy needs is probably somebody who is just objectively a better legacy player than he is. And you have Kevin Durant there to potentially be hey, this is what I am. This is my team. you're Jimmy Butler, you're great, you're here to help, but like, I'm not asking for much. I
So
think
that's
that's the only way.
Yeah, so that's more my concern is a personality in the sense that KD, I think we've kind of seen the personality I'd almost describe. He's like one of those guys that like, I feel like maybe sometimes he might not, if he's annoyed with you, he might not say it back. He's probably gonna like
Silent treatment.
text it out on his phone and just kind of be annoyed. So I just feel like I just feel like Jimmy's probably, I don't know that Jimmy is going to be carried by the fact that like someone is more of a legacy than him, and he's got the unfortunate thing of being like this really big work ethic guy, but then
True.
he does a ton of load management, whether or not how legit you think it all is. I think it probably is pretty legit overall. But I think it is tough to deal with when you're playing 50 games and then, you're pushing everyone. So I could just see, I could see him and KD. It could kind of hit I think it just pushes KD further into kind of like being just annoyed.
Fair. That's very fair. I think I know the one team Jimmy does not want to be traded to is the Memphis Grizzlies. So I will bet so much money that Pat Riley trades him to the Memphis Grizzlies. I feel that in my bones.
That's an interesting one. Why doesn't he want to go to Memphis? And would Memphis? I don't think Memphis would they really want him?
I don't think it adds anything for them really, right? Like I don't think they would want him, but I feel like they might take him if the offer was like a second round pick at this point, like
I'm assuming the Heat want Desmond Bane.
Of course, I would say that's probably a 1-for-1. Maybe they also would have to attach a second to Jimmy as well, right?
Yeah, assume Jaren Jackson Jr.'s got to be off the table just because of like
no way.
The defensive stuff he's definitely put on a bit of a pedestal, and I think either way I wouldn't trade Desmond Bane for Jimmy Butler.
No, me either. I would be interested to see a Marcus Smart for Jimmy Butler 1-for-1. I think that might be interesting, but I would have.
What would you get? Yeah, that would not help them.
It wouldn't do anything for them. Like that's I don't think it would make sense, but I think we're going to see a trade that isn't going to make sense regardless. Truly,
it would be scrappy and fun. The Miami Heat kind of smart, but another guy who's injured a lot is
2017 Celtics backcourt reunited in Miami, I guess, and that's going to be it. But
him and Rozier. Yeah, but you also got Hero in there. But
that's true.
What a time.
Smart would be a good pairing with them in some ways.
In theory.
Well, in theory, with him and Rozier, it's it's a lot of I got this, man.
That's true. That's so true.
And just two guys like, oh, this shot looks so sick.
Yeah, I would be sad to see Marcus Smart in a Heat uniform. It's not really what I want to see, but yeah, be interesting. That's for sure.
All speculation for sure.
Yeah. Anything else on this topic before we move on to the All-Stars?
No, not really.